Does this slouch position look familiar to you? The shoulders are rounded, the head's kicked forward, and you're just begging, baby, please, can you just give me a little bit of a shoulder rub? They're so tight. Well, if that's the case for you, let's get into some of the potential reasons why you might be biasing this position, as well as one of my favorite exercises as to what you can do about this chronic tension. So why is it that you can do the pec stretches in the world? You can get these suckers as long as possible, but for some reason, your shoulders keep defaulting back to this position. Well, one of the potential reasons, not the only reason, but one of the potential reasons, and something that isn't often looked at as it relates to this position, is where the rib cage exists underneath it. If I'm collapsed here, and I do all the shoulder retractions, the neck retractions that I want, but this area, think about your first two ribs, that area just beneath your collarbones. If that's collapsed, you're gonna have a very hard time finding, quote unquote, a more neutral position with your shoulders and your head. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make our way down to the floor. You can grab yourself some dumbbells. You can also put your feet underneath a couch. And if you've been a follower and you've seen this before, just stick around because it's a good time. What we're gonna do is work on this idea of lifting our first two ribs while we keep a baseline of core tension to not overly exaggerate extending from your lower back. So what I want you to feel into first and foremost, just having your hands off, we're gonna create a little bit of space on this front side by coming into almost like the top range of a pull-up. That's gonna create some exposure through this area of your body. What I want you to feel into first is, if you're here and you're in this rounded position, can you give yourself a little bit of a lift? I'm gonna drop this arm so you can see a little bit more clearly. Can you give yourself a little bit more of a lift this way? Now, can you sustain that as you go into a fall back? You're gonna feel the core is active. And then can you maintain that as you come back to neutral? If you're feeling your quads or your hip flexors a lot, what I'm gonna encourage you to do is open this angle up. So just kick away a little bit more and really think about actively driving the legs up to keep yourself suspended in that position. The more you can get used to that drive with this lift and get an intuitive sense of what that feels like with the breath, hold that for about 3 to 4 breath cycles, 4 to 5 seconds in, 4 to 5 seconds out. Now, when you come back to a standing position, a kneeling position, you're gonna be able to sense and feel that so much more easily. So now when you go through exercise, you go through movement, you now have access